everybody, all aboard for the ruckus at Herm's Anus this week. Hello and welcome back to the video series dedicated to The Challenge Season 32, The Final Reckoning. This week we're talking about Episode 6, and before we get into the main house's drama, let's take a look at how the people are doing in the Redemption House, and oh my gosh, CT finally found the note cards, the permanent marker, and the yarn. Oh my gosh, it looks like he's auditioning for CSI Boston. Man, you know what? He accidentally forgot a name. He accidentally forgot to write Pepe Silva's name and his teammate, but spoiler alert, Pepe Silva doesn't even exist. Anyways, nothing much happens in the Redemption House. They see the surveillance of Angela and Bananas and Faith and Kyle getting frisky, which we already knew that, so now they know. Great, cool. That affects Paulie and Natalie. That's very specific. So now on to the main house, where we finally find the #1 team of this challenge season so far. They are actually human and not just all machine. That's right, Brad and Kyle go through a bit of the ringer this episode, and we'll start off with Brad. The episode begins where episode 5 left off, where he's talking to Britni. He has 5 minutes, and he decides to question her on what happened between her and her ex/rival Chuck in the Redemption House. And even when Britni says, nothing happened, Brad shows his insecurities and shows that he doesn't really trust Britni, because he goes, I don't know what to believe anymore, which isn't a good sign in your relationship, just to be clear. So he's kind of out of it this episode, it feels, in the edit. Now Kyle, this is the 80th episode, but we are still dealing with the love triangle of Faith, Cara Maria, and Kyle. And Kyle thinks he is kind of being the manipulator and the puppet master this episode, because he feels like he can eat his cake and have it, and he can have his cake and eat it too, or as he could say, he's having his faith and eating. No, I'm not gonna say that. That's gross. Anyways, he decides to talk to Cara Maria, even after giving her a sabotage in the train challenge that they had. I mean, they sabotaged Cara Maria, and she just decides to, like, oh, but that's okay, kind of thing. And I'm gonna say right now, like, I thought it would be a cold day in hell, and apparently the devil got his AC fixed, because for some reason Marie is the voice of sanity, especially in this challenge with Cara Maria, because Cara Maria decides to just jump in Kyle's lap and be like, oh my gosh, I know you sabotaged me, but you're so cute and I still like you. And Marie just comes out and is like, yo, what are you doing? You're not just talking. If you're just talking, you sit in a different chair. You could talk to him in the morning. Stop being all upon him, because now your head doesn't seem like it's in the game. And I don't know what it is, but it's like, I don't know if it's the edit or if Cara Maria is actually kind of doing it this way, but she does not look like the Cara Maria that we know from the previous challenges, especially not Vendetta's, because Vendetta, she was a beast. She won handily by herself, and now she doesn't even seem to be really into the game this season, or if that's how the edit is portraying her, which that's what I'm hoping for, because she is a really great competitor. But in this one, she just seems to be fixated on just Kyle. But realistically, Kyle and Brad aren't getting off scot-free, especially because of Kyle. Because when everybody decides to use a burn vote, which I'm going to get into that a little bit real quick. So in this new elimination thing, people go into a room with their teammate, nobody else. Apparently nobody is talking to each other, besides Shane trying to get Devon to vote his way, which Shane is an idiot. So they go into the nominations without talking to anybody, and everybody decides they're going to do a burn vote. But when does a burn vote turn into just a normal vote? The answer is when everybody decides to burn vote on the same person. And from the edit, it looks like Shane and Nelson are getting a ton of burn votes, because when the camera flicks back to the other side, that's whose picture is pictured there. So everybody's doing a burn vote, But Kyle and Brad aren't out of it just yet. Yes, they show that they're human because they lost in the first stage of the train challenge, that episode, which they just fall off easily because, so in the train challenge, they have to walk across a balance beam together, tandemly, and it's kind of like triangled, it's angled, so you have to either with your feet like this, but Brad and Kyle decided to do the side-by-side, which you can crab walk to the side. That's fine. I get the point, because you could probably go faster that way. But that puts a lot of strength on your legs because you have to squat the whole time, and then you have to hold your partner's weight. Guess what, guys? That's not how it works. That's not going to do well for you. And guess what? It didn't do well. So now Brad and Kyle are eligible for what seems to be the first time to get votes this season. And Cara Maria and Marie decide to give them a vote. Burn a vote, which I feel as though they're actually going to burn a vote on them. They're going to burn a vote on him, and guess what? They don't like it very much. And that's where Kyle and Brad go nuts on Cara Maria, and it's just bad. It just gets kind of heated, but then Kyle just walks away instead of actually talking to her. But before we get into all that, I want to just say how excited I was for this episode because we get to see more Tony and Bananas. It's Tony time, it's Bananas time, it's Bananas Tony time. Because in this train challenge, they were the first team to finish the actual challenge. Granted, they were one of the first 2 teams to do it, but they were actually the first team to finish it, and there were only 3 teams that finished it all together, and they were one of them. They were in the mix to win this train challenge, but Zach decided to be a beast and throw Amanda on his shoulders and basically use his wingspan to get her to the finish line fastest. I mean, great. But we see that success on that team. They work together, they're having a good time, they're doing the choo-choo train noise together. But the best thing, okay, so Bananas basically tells Tony that I think you're like a little brother to me, I was a mentor to you, and I taught you some things in this game. One of the things was know when to cut your friends off so you can get farther in the game, which Tony did in Vendettas. But another thing that Bananas taught him was how, when drama is going down, how to ham it up for the camera in the background to make for an entertaining episode. As you can see here, this is where Cara Maria and Kyle were having their tiff, and yeah, there's Bananas and Tony in the background eating popcorn behind the bushes, which was one of my favorite parts of of the season so far, because it's the funniest one. But also, Shane decides to run his mouth like every time because he plays the game way too fast, way too hard. And he goes after Devon and Josiah, and they get into a bit of a screaming match, and guess who has a front row seat? Yep, Bananas and Tony. And they have some of the best faces I've ever seen in any challenge. So, I just want to say I'm super happy that they have more screen time, that they finished the challenge. They had some success, they had some team building. I love it. I want to see more of it. What do you want to see more of? I mean, that's pretty much it for this episode. That's what happened. It cuts off there where nobody knows what the vote is yet. They're going into elimination. Personally, what I want to see happen soon is Paulie get back in this game. We know he gets back in this game because him and Cara start hooking up and stuff. But he starts yelling at Kyle, and I want to see that. I don't want to see Kyle looking like he's running this game. It's his only second challenge. Let's knock him down a few pegs. Let's get some Paulie in there, and let's get this house jamming with some yelling and some drama. More drama than just this love triangle, because this is just annoying. But what do you think? Do you like the love triangle between Cara, Faith, and Kyle? Do you think it's good television? Are you kind of tired of it? Leave it in the comment section below. Also, we get mercenaries next episode in the elimination. So excited, or that's what it looks like is going to happen, because I'm excited about the mercenaries, because last season the mercenaries were some of the best episodes of last season. So what do you think? Are you excited about the mercenaries? What do you want to see happen? Do you want to see Paulie back in the house soon so we get some more drama? Do you want to see more Bananas and Tony? Is your team that you like not getting enough screen time? who is it? Tell me. Tell me what you think of this episode. Tell me everything you have and want to talk about in this episode, because I'm going to comment. I love to read your comments about it. I will comment about your comments. And thank you so much for watching. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. I would love to read and talk to you guys about this episode. And yeah, thank you so much. Hit that like button. And I'll see y'all next week